Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This video will be in a very me annoyed format. It's basically story time. I don't do videos like this often, if ever, actually, but this video is regarding the Jeep that I sold through Copart. It's actually my last video. And if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description below. Where do I start? I guess I could start with saying that stories like this, examples like this, is why I stay away from doing business with Copart. Stories like this and my personal experience is why I kind of stopped buying vehicles from Copart. There's a lot of setup cars. And if you guys want to see those, I am more than happy to show you those. There's actually a McLaren this week that was totally destroyed. Someone bought it, put it together, like shiesty job, and threw it back on Copart. This happens extremely often. People literally make a business doing this. The RAV4 a few videos ago that I purchased for a client, or someone purchased through my account, was one of those examples. I know there are dealers in this area who literally do that, and then they run cars through Copart. Why do they run cars through Copart? The answer to that is actually super simple. Copart is an as-is auction, which means by their own policies, all vehicles are sold as is, where is, all bids are final, and so on and so forth. You place a bid, you win the vehicle, you own the vehicle. Now, mentioned why I stopped purchasing vehicles from Copart. Because I've been on the other end of that. I've purchased a vehicle that was not as described. I reached out to them, they said, hey, we sell all vehicles as is. You should have came out and looked at it, inspected it before you placed a bid. Because once you place a bid and you win, you own the vehicle. If you're not able to come look at it in person, we offer third-party inspections by mechanics that we work with, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you placed a bid, you won the car, you own the car. Sorry that it wasn't as described. And even if you guys look at the run and drive policy that they have, even though it's a run and drive, it's not guaranteed to be a run and drive. Even by Copart rules that if it's a run and drive, they only test it moving forward. So if you don't have a reverse gear, it's still a run and drive vehicle. I've encountered this personally, and I have heard more than a few stories from colleagues in the business. And honestly, after a few vehicles like that, I told myself I need to get out of the salvage game. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't happen very often, but when it happens, it sucks. So I bid on vehicles knowing that they are sold as is, that if I win the vehicle, I will own it. So that's why when I used to buy from Copart, I placed a bid that I was comfortable with, anticipating that, hey, if there will be issues, I give myself a buffer. Anyone who does business with Copart knows, and if you don't know this yet, you should know that all vehicles are sold as is. So let's start with my situation. I purchased a Jeep from a dealer-only auction, the 1997 Jeep Wrangler with extremely low miles. When I went to pick it up, it had a lot more things that need to be taken care of than I anticipated. And I floored the vehicle, meaning I used bank's money. So I figured in order for me to do it right, I have to do a suspension rebuild. It needs new tires, it needs power steering figured out, it needs the brake situation figured out, it needs like transmission flush, service. It needed a whole bunch of work. And I figured by the time I get parts, by the time I get someone to do it, or by the time I find myself to do it, I will be losing a lot of time. to make what? So I decided to run it through Copart because I figured, hey, it's a low mileage Jeep. Someone will purchase it. Has a lot of potential. And if I make some money, fantastic. Which I made good money on the vehicle, which is great. I'm very happy about that. So the vehicle was sold. I got the check for the Jeep, picked up the check, finished all the paperwork, submitted, which I'm required by law, that I sold the vehicle to the state of Oregon, and effectively I moved on with my life. A week after that, we were going to, well actually I picked up, Jeep was sold Wednesday. The following Monday I picked up and deposited the check. Thursday we were leaving on vacation to Chelan in Washington, and I get a phone call from my account manager from Dallas. And it's snowing. I mean, it's dumping snow. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to answer it. He calls again. I was like, okay, I mean, it's still dumping snow. He calls again. I'm like, okay, it must be something urgent, something happening, whatever. So I take the call. This call lasted roughly 25 to 30 minutes. And he calls me and goes, hey Serge, I want to talk to you about the Jeep that we sold for you through our auction. And I was like, what's going on? He goes, so man, we messed up. We didn't properly inspect the vehicle, and the dealership who bought it, they got the vehicle, they lifted it up, and they found rust. And they're not happy about it, so they want us to unwind the deal, essentially undo the purchase. And I was like, okay, well, all vehicles are sold as is. Like, why are you calling me about this? Well, Serge, you should have let us know that it had rust damage underneath, and you didn't disclose that to us. And I told him, I was like, look, I bought the vehicle at a dealer auction. I had it in my possession maybe an hour and a half before I went to Copart. I didn't lift the vehicle up. I didn't look underneath the vehicle. I never do. You guys that follow the channel, the only time I look underneath the vehicle is when I'm under it doing an oil change or something along those lines. I don't look at vehicles. I don't have the equipment to lift them up. I just don't. So I was like, how am I supposed to know that there was rust under there? And he goes, well, I'm not saying you should have known, but you should have disclosed it. And I was like, how can I disclose something I don't know? He goes, well, look, Serge, we don't have the ability to inspect underneath the vehicle. So like we couldn't have classified it, and we sold it as minor dents and scratches, which was incorrect. And I was like, look, if you guys aren't equipped to inspect undercarriage, how do you guys sell vehicles with undercarriage damage? Like, how do you know that there's undercarriage damage? He paused, realized that he was in a corner, and shifted gears. No, I understand where you're coming from and so on and so forth, but my manager and the regional manager kind of got together, and they kind of made a decision. We want you to voluntarily purchase back the vehicle, and the way it's going to go is the owner is going to return the vehicle in the condition that they purchased it. We're going to inspect it, make sure that it came back the same condition that they picked it up, which I don't know how they will confirm it, because they don't take pictures of a vehicle that, you know, just left for proof. So if it comes back with XYZ damage, there's no proof. But anyways, that's another thing. And he goes, at that point, we will run it through under your business again. And, you know, I know you wanted $6,500 for the Jeep originally. We're going to try to get you at least that. If it sells for $6,500, then whatever the difference is, it will be put on your account, and you're going to owe us that amount, the difference. If it sells for more than what it sold for originally, then we'll cut you another check, and, you know, we're all squared away. But we're going to run the Jeep through. It's going to be listed as undercarriage damage, and then in the notes we're going to put rust damage in the special note section. And I was like, look, vehicle was ran through as is. Every single time that I've purchased vehicles, I was told, go look at them, go inspect them, hire a third party to inspect them, blah, blah, blah. All bids are final, all bids are binding, all sales are, or all vehicles are sold as is, so on and so forth. And he goes, look, I'm gonna read what the manager told me, email. And he goes, look, Copart is an as-is auction, but, ... we found rust underneath the vehicle. You can't have as is, but when it's as is. You buy something as is, you own it. It's as is, like literally as is, as is. It doesn't make sense to me. So we kept going back and forth. I'm telling him that, look, if you guys decide to unwind the deal, Copart is going to own the vehicle. I will not be the owner of the vehicle anymore. I sold it. I sold it through Copart, an as-is auction. I reported it as sold to the Oregon DMV. I legally no longer own the vehicle. I have no right to the vehicle. If you guys decide to go through with this, to buy it back for this buyer, for whatever reason, Copart will own the vehicle. He started to get all hostile and upset, and I was annoyed because I was like, yo, dude, you're pissing on my vacation. Like, it's literally snowing outside, worst snow I've ever driven in, and this dude is calling me about this and like blowing up my phone because it couldn't wait. Anyways, he goes, okay, well, I will relay that to my manager, and if anything, I'll give you a call back. So a few hours later, I get another call from him. I didn't answer. I was like, I don't want to deal with this crap. I know exactly what the phone call is going to be about. So I shoot him a text. I was like, hey, here's my email address. Email me whatever you were going to say. So he sends me an email, and this is what it says. And the reason why I wanted an email, because at that point it becomes a legal document, so that, you know, there's no more of this he said, she said type of deal. It's right there. It's right there. You can't go left, right. I mean, you can't ignore it. It's on paper. And I like doing this in situations like this. Unfortunately, you know, not the first situation like this, especially with freaking Copart. So in the email, again, he says that we are moving forward. It's going to be ran through under my business, and blah, blah, blah. Pretty much everything he told me on the phone and summarized it. I responded with, you know, what you guys see on the screen, and you're welcome to pause the video at any point to read what I said. So my whole point was to basically have a documented paper trail, if you will, for this whole conversation and this whole situation. And I pulled up their policy agreement, the user agreement that they have, a quick Control F on the keyboard on the computer, and you could search for as is, and they have a few sections which again says that Copart is an as is auction, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And that's what I told him. He basically goes, yeah, about the whole thing that we no longer legally own it, I will kind of send it forward or send it along to my manager, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, read the consignment agreement form. And I'm like, okay, I have read it. I read it. What are you trying to point out to me? Like, where in violation am I that I have to buy back the vehicle? From the get-go, when you called, one of the first things he told me was, hey, so we messed up and we improperly advertised the vehicle. You messed up. I never told you guys to change anything. I brought you a vehicle to sell. It is your job to take a look at the vehicle, to inspect the vehicle, and to advertise it in whatever way you decide to advertise it. If you fail to do so, that's your mess up. That's not my mess up. So I told him, I was like, look, I read the consignment agreement. Where are we in violation? Well, like, what are you trying to point out to me? He basically responded that, hey, if you want to talk about it, give me a call. I'm like, no. I told you this is going to serve as a legal document. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I want everything to be through email, through text message, whatever, just so that there's a paper trail. So unfortunately, with my vacation ruined, because you know, thinking about this, the headache, the mess, and just like why the hell are you calling me? Like, honestly, it was sold as is. Like, how is that my problem? You guys are an as is auction, was sold as is with no warranty, no guarantee, no nothing. Why are you calling me? Why are you even reaching out to me about this? Anyways, vacation goes by. 1 week goes by. I don't hear from anyone. Second week goes by. I don't hear from anyone. I don't even see the Jeep on the thing, on Copart. Third week goes by. Jeep pops up. It pops up with the same exact lot number when I had it. Nothing changed. Same lot number, same pictures. It just, whoop, it's back up there. I was like, okay. Fourth week goes by. Again, I was like, okay, well, whatever. I don't own it. Nobody's reached out to me. No, nothing. I think it was fifth week that went by. I get a call from my account manager, and I'm like, nope. However this ends, I ain't working with you no more. So he sends me an email, another email, and he basically outlines, hey, we ran it through. This is what happened. We ran it through multiple times. We tried to get the bidders up. No one is willing to go any higher. But it ran through, I think, today or last night or whatever, and we got a $6,600 bid on it. The seller or the buyer agreed to purchase it for $6,700. We want your approval before we release it at that price. And you told me that you wanted $6,500 out of it. So, like, this is fantastic. You're getting what you wanted out of it. Just want to, you know, get your approval to sell the vehicle. And I was like, yay. A month went by and still hasn't gotten a clue. Like, I don't own the vehicle. I haven't owned it for a long time. A month now, at least. So I was debating, do I want to respond? Do I not want to respond? So I more or less took most of the day to kind of think about it, you know, collect my thoughts, just to see how I want to proceed. At this point, I am really frustrated because it feels like they're trying to bend me over and take advantage. And that to me is very, very annoying. I don't know if the dealership that bought it originally, you know, if they spend $500,000 a year at Copart, that means that they collect more fees from that dealership. But if I spend $200,000 at Copart a year, then clearly I'm the smaller fish. I pay less fees to them. That means I am less profitable. So therefore, I'm thinking that they want to cater to the dealership or the person who is spending more money at their auction, which is morally, I think, wrong, but this is assumption, so I'm not, literally, there's no proof of that. Just something I'm assuming, so I don't want to, you know, lead the conversation in that direction, but that was my thought process. But towards, you know, midday, I think it was like 3 o'clock or something, I decided, let me respond, basically, again, tell them I don't own the vehicle, I have no legal right to tell you what to do with the vehicle. The decision to sell it or not to sell it is solely your decision. And that's that. The account manager responds and basically saying, no, we need an answer from you. Basically, if you don't give us the approval to sell the vehicle, then we will put it on owner retain. And if you don't pick it up within a certain amount, then it's going to start racking up storage fees. And after 30 days, we will legally essentially like own the vehicle or whatnot. And I'm thinking, do I want a free Jeep out of this? Do an owner retain, go pick it up, and I get a free Jeep again. But no, that's a joke, guys. That's a joke. So at this point, I'm like, I'm really, really just pissed off. Like, what the actual freaking A is happening, and why is it happening? And like, whatever I'm telling them, they're literally just like completely ignoring it, and they're just pushing their story. Hey, this is what's gonna happen. This is what's going or like, this is what we're doing, this is what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Everything that I'm saying, nothing. So I have a colleague who gave me the direct contact of the Copart vice president. And he's like, hey, I was in a similar situation. Copart was clearly wrong. They tried to do whatever. He's like, I somehow got his contact and he was able to sort it out. He's like, I reached out to him and he went, what the hell is going on? Like, this is not okay. And he basically stopped everything. So he's like, hey, here's his contact. Shoot him an email, explain the situation, see if he can help. So that's what I did. I sent him an email, the Portland general manager and the regional manager, along with my account manager. Sent them all an email, basically like, hey, this is what's happening, take a look. The other two managers, regional and Portland manager, as far as I know, are in the loop, and they are the ones who made the decision on my behalf for a vehicle that I don't even own. So it was more or less for the VP of Copart to kind of take a look at. I still haven't heard from him, but I did hear from a senior manager for the corporate division of Copart. And when he called, I didn't know what number it was. I was busy, I didn't answer. So he left me a voicemail. And basically, hey, this is regarding the Jeep. Give me a call when you can. I want to talk about it, and so on and so forth. So I was like, hey, great. Somebody that's head up above, these people that I've been dealing with. Maybe he can help. So I give him a call. He starts out. Very nice guy. Very pleasant. We go a little bit back and forth. He starts telling me that I have to do morally the right thing. And I was like, and what is it? Like, where morally did I bend anything? Like that I was morally out of bounds and now I have to morally do the right thing to fix it? Where? He didn't have an answer for me. And I was like, look, you guys are an as-is auction. He goes, no, I know. We are an as-is auction. But this situation, you have to do the right thing and you have to buy it back. I was like, on what grounds? He goes, look, Serge, Copart is not equipped. I love how he used equipped. Equipped to inspect undercarriage. And at that point, I didn't think about it because the conversation was starting to get heated. After the conversation, I thought of the following. So if Copart is not equipped, by his words, to inspect undercarriage of vehicles, they have forklifts, different sizes forklifts. I think that's equipment that's capable of lifting vehicles up and to check undercarriage, don't you think? The other thing is, if you are not equipped to inspect undercarriage damage, why do you have undercarriage damage as one of the categories? How do you determine it has undercarriage damage if Copart is not equipped to determine it has undercarriage damage? So what you're telling me is you're not equipped, so every time I see a vehicle with undercarriage damage, it's pulled out of where? Thin air? Which again doesn't make sense to me. None of this makes sense to me, but it annoys the crap out of me, more than annoys the crap out of me. And he goes, look, Serge, if you're not going to morally do the right thing, we're going to shut down your account. You will no longer be able to buy and sell on Copart. I was like, okay. For breaking what policy? For breaking which one of Copart's rules? He goes, nothing, but we as Copart have the right to do business with who we choose to do business. And we're just going to choose not to do business with you. This is coming from a senior manager in a corporate office. They choose not to do business with a small dealership like mine. No rules that I broke, no violations, but because they messed up, didn't disclose the rust damage, I'm the one who has to pay their mess up. And because I'm not willing to play ball with them, because why should I play ball with them? They never played ball with me. What I did tell them though is they are private business. I do agree that they have a right to choose who they want to do business with. And morally, I think it's wrong to close down my account over this, especially that there's no violation of any of their rules that they wrote. I'm not in violation with any of those rules. But I agree, as a business, they can choose who to do business with, who not to do business with. And that's what I told them. I was like, I will agree with you on that. You do have the right to choose, do business with me or not. And we basically ended on, they are closing down my Copart buyer and seller accounts because of this Jeep situation. Now, I guess in conclusion, it's been a few days since I last spoke to him. My account is still active. In conclusion, my thought process is they might not close down my account. It might have been a scare tactic because, literally there was no violation on my end. But if they don't close the account, they could potentially put my account into negative balance. So if, say, they sell the Jeep for a certain amount and I owe them $2,000, they might put my account into negative balance, which effectively will make it unusable. So they didn't shut it down, but they made it that I can't use it because Copart rules is if there's an outstanding balance, that balance gets covered first. So for example, I purchased a vehicle for $10,000. I bring them a $10,000 check. From that $10,000, $2,000 will go to that fee that I owe, the outstanding balance. The other $8,000 will go towards the vehicle I purchased. They will not release the vehicle to me because the vehicle still has a $2,000 unpaid balance on it. They will not give me the title, which effectively will force me into paying the $2,000. And without that, if they do it this way, then I just can't use the account. The same theory will apply whether I sell or buy vehicles through Copart. Thankfully, I have amazing friends, people in the business who know this story, who have been personally following the story, guided me in this story. They told me I could use their accounts. So if I do decide to purchase a vehicle through Copart, I have a few accounts I can use, which is fantastic. But that's not where we're trying to go. This video is super messy. I'm in the office alone and just trying to lay it out, I guess, the best way I can, but there's still a lot of frustration, annoyance, and emotion tied with this story. So probably, left out a few details, forgot about certain, I don't know. My brain honestly is so fried from this situation. It's like a really, really bad WTF moment, where no matter how I kind of spin it, it's like, what is actually happening? Like, it has to be some really, really dumb joke on Copart's behalf. But for those of you who are watching and you are trying to sell a vehicle through Copart, be mindful that this can happen, especially if you don't spend a lot of money at Copart. I think, personal opinion, that might increase the chances of something like this happening to you. I'm just baffled. I want to know your guys' opinions. I want to see those comments. Let me know what you guys think. Share your stories. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a follow-up video with this, but as of right now, the last I heard is my account is getting shut down. I am no longer doing business with Copart. I checked. The Jeep is still up for grabs. It's still there. It's actually a day I'm filming right now. It will be going through the auction. I don't know what it will do. I don't know how much money it will bring. Even if it brings $10,000, I don't own the Jeep. I don't own it. I have no legal right to the Jeep at this point. My paperwork has been filled out and submitted that I sold it. what the heck? Like, actually, what the heck? I don't know. I don't even know what note to end. I mean, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. It's a bad rant, long rant. I don't know. Just really annoying and unfortunate that the Copart conducts business in this manner. Morally, you know, if they messed up, I think that they have to own their mistake. It's not on me to fix multi-billion-dollar company's mistake, especially, you know, what's $2,000 to them versus what's $2,000 to me. Each location, the Portland location, probably makes $300,000-$400,000 every week on fees. So what is it to them? If they messed up, own it. That's like 0.3% of your profit, weekly profit. No, they have to jerk me around for this freaking nonsense. Like, anyways, thank you for watching. I'm sorry for my demeanor, for my tone. If you've been following, you know, this is not who I like to be, but I guess, you know, once buttons get pushed, I'm fed up. I'm fed up.